Hey everyone, Adam with Droid Media here, and today we're talking about the cost of doing business. One of the most frequent questions I get asked, mostly from new or younger freelancers, is what should I charge for my services? And when you're first starting out, this can be a really tough price to figure out. You don't want to charge too much and price yourself out of the industry or land jobs that you can't handle. You also don't want to charge too little, price others out of the industry, or land projects that just really aren't worth your time. So you have to come up with the number that's right for you. And doing so can seem like a really daunting task. This can seem like a very complex part of running your own business, trying to come up with all these numbers, but it's actually based on a lot of really simple things. But I guess we should first define the cost of doing business, or CODB. Now, at its most basic level, this is simply the cost that it takes to run your business while making a profit. And if you can't make a profit while doing it, you can't afford to provide clients with those services. And it's really that simple. When I first started doing freelance work and I had a lot less gray hair, I didn't know what to charge like a lot of people. So I asked around. And what I heard were things like $1,000 per minute, a finished video, $150 per hour for shooting and editing, whatever. And this kind of worried me. I mean, that money sounded great, but I was worried that I didn't have the experience, the gear, or the relationships that some of these seasoned men and women in the industry had. And I was afraid that I would actually land a $5,000 job and just not be able to deliver. I'd ruin my reputation, and then I'd have to go like live in a cave and work in a Foot Locker somewhere. So I came up with some arbitrary amounts that I thought sounded affordable for clients. Things like $100 or $250 or $500 per project. And in a way, I had come up with my own CODB. I realized really quickly that I was charging way too little for what I was offering. Now, in order to make enough money for my business to stay open at this point, let alone pay for my personal bills, I was going to have to work like well over 100 hours a week. And you should know that if you're just starting out, you're not going to get paid for working all 100 hours in a week. You're going to have non-billable things like telling your animals to be quiet, invoicing clients, networking, maintaining your web presence and social media, and so forth. All parts of running a business. But it was at this moment I knew that I needed something a little bit better to help me come up with my CODB, something I could plug my information into regardless of what gear I had, regardless of my location, regardless of my experience or years in the industry, and get a really accurate number for what I needed to charge in order to run my business. So like all former mathletes, I created a spreadsheet and I started keeping track of every single penny that I needed to run my business. Things like how much money I spent on cameras over X amount of time, how many hours I was working per week, per month, per year, what my yearly health insurance premiums were, and so forth. And at this point, things really started to take shape. I was able to see what I needed to run my business, not make a profit, but run my business and keep the doors open. Then I added another line item into my CODB spreadsheet, and that was income. And not what I really wanted to make, but what I needed to make to pay my personal bills, like my mortgage, student loans, buy that really fancy dog food that my picky dog likes, and so forth. And at this point, my rates skyrocketed. Instead of charging $100 or $250 or $500 per project, I was gonna have to charge several times that amount. And this number really freaked me out at first. But I had to remind myself that this is what my services were worth to people. This is the amount of money I needed to make per hour or per day or per week or per year to keep my business open and offer these services to clients. And by now you're probably thinking, Adam, you're the only person that can come up with a video about calculating the cost of doing business and then spend 5 minutes rambling on without actually telling us how to calculate the cost of doing business. And of course, I'm just paraphrasing my wife who watched the first version of this video yesterday that was like 15 minutes long. So how exactly do we calculate the cost of doing business? The spreadsheet I created to determine mine is linked in the video description below. You can actually make a copy or download it to use on your own to determine your CODB. Now, there are already some numbers filled in so you can see how it works and see what the cost breakdown is for everything. But let's go ahead and walk through it so you can get a better sense for how to use it. On the left-hand side, you've got your expenses. Now, this is everything that you are going to spend money on: cameras, lenses, hard drives, miscellaneous equipment. For me, this is, lighting and microphones and stuff. There's computer, there's software, websites, cell phones, anything else that you can think of that you might want. I've had a bunch of stuff listed, and then there's also several spots that you can add in additional items. This is for when your business expands or you start doing bigger and better projects and you want to add in items there. So scrolling back up to the top, I've also given myself some notes here. So I don't spend $1,000 a year on a camera. I spend about $3,000 every 3 years when I purchase a new one. So what I want to do is account for about $1,000 a year that I've got saved up or that I've at least earned to pay for that. Here in the yearly total, though, this column is where you're going to enter in all of your information. If you spend $500 a year or the equivalent of, you can enter that in, and then you can see what that does to some of these other columns. So this is where you'll enter in all of your information. From there, what this does is it breaks it down by month and then by day. And these 4 columns here, the last 4, are where you're going to see your daily totals. And these are daily totals if you work 200 days a year, if you work 150 days a year, 100 days a year, or 50 days a year. So if I know that I spend $3,000 every 3 years on a camera, that means every year I need $1,000 saved up or earned, which means every month I need to make $83 and some cents for that. If I work 200 days a year, that means every day I go out on a shoot or every day that I work for editing or do editing, I need to have $5 saved up. Not so bad. In all reality, I'm probably going to fall closer to the 150 days a year. So I need just under $7 every day that I work that goes towards my camera. So as you scroll down, you can see that there are some zeros here. You might have zeros in some of these columns. Because I work from home, I actually don't have anything that I need to spend on office or studio space rental. I just drive our cute little Prius for my video shoots, so I don't really have a production vehicle. So once you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see that there is a total that is all of the money you are going to need to run your business. For this example right now, that's $11,000. So every year I spend $11,000 just keeping the doors of my business open. Every month, that means I need to spend, or I'll spend about $914 or earn about $914 for that purpose. And then you can see the breakdown on days. Underneath that is where you can enter your salary in. There is a little tax section here so you can see what you would owe in taxes. And then your take-home pay, or some people might call that your net pay. So you can adjust that accordingly. And then here, the last few lines are your total. So your total here is if you spend $11,000 a year keeping your business open and you want to make $24,000 a year is like your salary or an income, you need to make $35,000 a year to do so. What that means is you need to bring in $2,900 a month, a little over $175 if you work on a day, if you work 200 days a year. If you work 150 days a year, that's $234. Over $350 if you want to only work 100 days a year, and double that, over $700 if you just want to work 50 days a year. And the last thing you can see here is this hourly breakdown. So if you want to work 8 hours a day, you can see up here, this is what it's going to cost per hour. So I included these options because some people like to charge day rates and other people like to charge hourly. It just really depends on you and where your business is at. And again, as you go through and edit this information, you can see what the cost has on or what the effect has on your bottom line and what you need to make every year. Hopefully after watching this video, you've got an idea on how to calculate your CODB and a tool to help you do it. Now, one of the goals I have with this platform, in addition to producing interesting DIY filmmaking projects and video gear reviews, is to demystify the freelance filmmaking and video production process. When I was starting out, there was a lot of things that I wanted to know about, but not a lot of help on learning it. So I want to help educate and inspire anyone that has an interest in this sort of stuff by sharing what I've learned and what I'm still learning. So if you've got questions on how to calculate your CODB, about freelancing, about filmmaking, or video production on any level, leave those in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to click like and subscribe for more content just like this one. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.